I used to spend hours on designing the perfect Power BI background, but now I do it in a matter of seconds with the help of the Figma plugin I created. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the Figma plugin, what it can do, how you can install it, and how you can get started today. So first things first, you have to head over to my website where I currently have a promo. The first 25 customers get a 50 euro discount. So don't wait too long in order to get the Figma plugin. Everything you need to know is written down here. You can have a look what it can do. There are some examples, also step-by-step guidance, and also links to further blog posts. But basically, all you have to do is click on the link to get the Figma plugin. You will get redirected to the Lemon Squeezy account where it's currently available for sale. You can choose to pay by card or with PayPal, whatever you prefer. After you fill out your details, it's very, very important that you download three different items basically. You will get one HTML file, one JSON file, and one JavaScript file. The manifest is the most important one that you later need to upload to Figma. And the UI and the code are basically files you need to be aware of. You don't need to touch them. It's very important that you save them all in one folder. If you don't save them in one folder, right now I save them in my downloads, it will not work. So this is very, very important. Once you save the Figma plugin and the manifest into a folder that you like, you can open Figma. It's very important. This only works with Figma Desktop. I'm also going to leave a link to Figma Desktop where you can download it. You can start for free. There are some paid versions, but you can start for free. You want to click on the top left on the Figma icon where it says plugin. And here under development, you can say import a plugin from manifest. This is what we want to do. Then a new window open, and you need to select the folder now here in my download folder where the manifest is saved. So you just click on open. A new window will pop up and it says Power BI Background Designer has been imported. So you can see I already have another version in a different folder path where it's already saved. So all you have to do is double click on the version you just created. A single click is actually fine, and the whole Background Designer Studio is available for you. I'm going to walk you now through step by step how it's going to work. Basically, you have 5 or 6 settings that are very important, and that you always have a live preview. So whatever you change on the right-hand side will be reflected in the live preview. Currently, we have a preset of the canvas size 1600 times 900 width and height, but you can totally change it. So we have a couple of options. The default Power BI view, but you can also add a total custom combination. It's really up to you. What saves you most of the time is actually the arrangement of the layout. So I uploaded the most common versions that I typically work with. For example, we have one single canvas, we have 2 rows or 2 columns next to each other, and basically we have 18 presets that you can customize later on as well. So this is just the starting point. You can always add the items in Figma later on. Because we're using the auto layout feature, you can actually tweak your designs and delete items or add items, and the style will still be the same as before. So this is very, very powerful. The next section, you can decide if you want to have headers or sidebars. You can enable them by clicking the toggle button. So right now, if you don't want any header, this would be showing no header. But if you want to have a header enabled, you would see there will be a header icon. If you want, you can also add a navigation style. This is more for like illustration purposes. If you want to have some pre-filled examples, there are some examples you can choose from. You can see it's kind of now highlighted as a pillar or as a line, but this is purely optional. I think what's most important is the header and the sidebar. You can also choose a footer if you want. And we have different sidebar options. So you have an icon sidebar, which is very, very slim. You have a compact version, which is a little bit bigger, and a full version, which I'm going to choose in this case. Of course, you can always change the width to as many pixels as you want. If you want a footer, you can enable it. I usually don't enable it. Let's for now choose a layout which is kind of a classic layout that I always like. It's a 2x2. So basically we have 4 KPI cards or 4 visuals, and then we also want to have 4 KPI cards on the top here. But we can add more or less. This is up to you, but I kind of like the 4x4 look. Very important now is the spacing. So the spacing means what is the distance between each of the visuals to the side and to the top and to the bottom. So very, very important. So whenever you change the size, it will automatically readjust. This will save you hours of manually calculating the canvas size. In Excel, that's how I used to do it. You can also choose the corner radius, like I usually tend to have 4 or 8 or 15, not too much, but I like the option. If you want, you can enable a shadow or not and choose if you want to apply it to KPI cards or visuals. Now, one of the most interesting features is that we have a color preset. You can change different colors here, like purple, orange, red, and you can see the background changes slightly. We also have a few dark mode options for people who like the dark mode option. I like the charcoal very much and also the navy soft. I'm going to stick with the charcoal because it kind of illustrates very well how to set up, and it just gives you a more visual idea what the outcome will look like. Once you're happy with with the choice, you can say generate background, and that's all you need to do. So in the first time, it probably takes you a few minutes. Once you did it a few times, you can generate a background in seconds. So now you see this is the navigational sidebar. It is a white sidebar. You have some navigation here on top, and this is your 4x4 canvas. So you have space for 4 main visuals, maybe a time frame, and then 3 categories, and you have 4 KPI cards on the top. Now, let's say, okay, this is one visual, Lucas, great, but how do you add another one? You can say right click, for instance, go to plugin and run the last plugin. That's what we did. Or you can go under development and choose the plugin that you just selected. But I'm just going to use the run last plugin option, and the plugin option comes back. Now, let's say I want a different layout. I want to have the two columns next to each other, and I also want a different color. So we can do that. Let me change to warm sand. And maybe I'm also going to change the sidebar so you can see what other options exist. So sidebar, let's choose the compact version and click on generate background. So like instantly it creates a background. You can move it a little bit to the side, and you can see the sidebar option is a bit different to the one we had before. And this serves as an inspiration for you. Of course, you have to create those pages in Power BI later for yourself, but it could be a great mockup purpose, or serve the great purpose for creating mockups. Like I said, everything is totally flexible in Figma. You have to get a feeling for how to work with a frame, but essentially, if you want to change the size or the height, you can totally do it. Click a few times with the left mouse click on the column, on the visual, double click ideally. So now I selected one visual, and you can move it to the side, and you can see everything changes automatically. We keep always the white space to 20 pixel, like we said in the beginning. And you can also select the KPI cards on the top if you want to enlarge them. And this is what really saves you hours and hours of time, because if you would do it manually in PowerPoint, for example, the old way, just in the Power BI desktop version, then you would always need to recalculate the size and position of every visual. And you can now completely forget about this. I'm going to switch over to the dark mode version because it's a bit more clear, or it's a bit easier to see. You can also delete items. So if you double click on one item and delete this item, you can see that everything automatically readjusted. And this is the auto feature, the auto layout feature, what I talked about earlier, which enables you to have the automatic layout adjustments. You can also resize it. So if I move it to the bottom or move it to the right, it automatically keeps your style presets, which is amazing, right? But for now, I want to keep it as 1600 times 900. So this is kind of my preferred way. If you don't like the sidebar, for example, just double click on the sidebar and delete it. And you see everything else adjusts. This is really, really magical. Sometimes the auto layout feature can be a bit confusing. So if you want to add, or if you want to change the color, of course you can do it. Double click on any of the points. You can change the color. Anything is possible. You can choose like a blue or green or whatever you feel like. But I have some pre-selections for you, which I like. But this is just an option to show you how you can change it yourself. The plugin currently has 12 preset colors. If you want to have more colors, you need to adjust the input files that came with the download. You can do it yourself. You can use AI for that to say, hey, please add another color. Or you can also hire me and I will add a color for your brand that you need, okay? These are just some options. You can disable the auto layout feature in case you don't want the auto layout feature, because sometimes it can be confusing to work with. You just say toggle, just left click on the option here, and then you can see the blue highlighted item is off. You need to do it a few more times. So now I just did it for the overall canvas, but you need to select each of the individual items as well. You can see here, this is also one auto layout frame, just the canvas itself. So we need to click on the bottom here. Also the sidebar has an auto layout option and also the header. So now whenever we want to move something, let's say we want to move the sidebar to the left or right, you see the behavior is different and it's not automatically changing anymore. This is the feature about the auto layout. I hope this gave you inspiration to see what's possible with the Power BI background design and how much time it could potentially save you. So instead of wasting hours on manually calculating the distances, if you want to add one more KPI card or not, this really saves you hours. And again, I'm going to show you one last time how easy it is. We're going to run a plugin. We're going to have a different kind of dashboard. Let's take the dashboard style. We don't want KPI cards. We want to have a dark mode option here and click generate background and boom, it's already done. You can resize it. And this is your frame ready in 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Leave it a like and I'd be happy for some feedback, and let me know in the comments if you think this plugin will save you actually some time.